Okay, so just got out of therapy and it was unsettling but productive. Um, I did tell Laura about, what my suicidal ideation looks like, and she validated the feeling, and at the same time, she told me that's the part of you that just wants all the pain and the bad things to stop. So, and I told her it's an impossible feat, and that's one reason why. And she's like, but why do you want all of you to go away? Why do you want everybody to forget you? And it's because if they never knew I was there, then they won't mourn, they won't be hurt. Because it's like when I do this, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just only want to disappear and make everything stop and make everything go away. And she's like, but wouldn't you miss the fun stuff? And I'm like, well, if there's nothing existing that can think or feel, then there's nothing there to miss anything either. And she's like, I get you. But she validated the desire for everything to stop. So that was important to me. And then we did something called parts work where, we didn't do it all at once, but she wanted me to connect with the anxious part of myself where the anxiety comes from. And she's like, what does anxious Cindy look like? Because I have triggers that are long and short, and long triggers are like traumaversaries, like seasons of the year and times of year. So that's seasonal anxious Cindy. And she looks like a little transparent deer just frozen in headlights. That she's afraid that there could be a tiger or a truck coming around the corner, or there's hunters with guns, and just all these bad things that could happen. That's anxious Cindy. So, and Laura said that's a positive part of you because she's protecting you. And I'm like, well, that's the part of me that speaks up. And then that's a part of me that speaks up, but then nobody listens. So I don't feel like I'm heard. And then I'm caught up in the consequences of what happened. And she's like, well, you can't control anybody else, but that part of you protected you by speaking up. That's the part that made noise and spoke up. And whether or not it succeeded is not what's important. It's the fact that this part of you is trying to protect you. And she asked me if I have that part has malice towards me, and I'm like, no, I have malice towards her because it seems like she can't get anything done. And she's like, and Laura's like, well, that's okay because it's frustrating to be anxious and feel like nobody hears you. But that part of you is what speaks up, and it is a part of you that helps to keep you safe. So that's anxious, seasonally anxious Cindy. And then there was another part that's the angry part of me, angry and fighter. They're kind of two parts of a whole, I guess, two sides of a coin. And this part of me, I I immediately said this part of me looks like Godzilla. This is the part of me that's big, that's mean, that wants to fight. This is the part of me that's loud. This is the part of me that comes up when I feel trapped. And this is the part of me that yells at my dad when he's messed up his bed for the 500th time in an hour. It's the part of me that sees injustice and can't stand it. And Laura said, does this part feel malice to you? And I'm like, No, but she's the part of me that when she's pulling her elbow back to fight somebody in front of her, the elbow hits me in the face. So I get hurt in the crossfire of her fighting other things. And Laura validated that by saying, well, sometimes our anger hurts us, but it can protect us. So this is not a part of you that's bad. This is a part of you that's kept you alive. So my anger is Godzilla. And then there's a third part, and it's Curious Cindy. And she looks like the 13th Doctor on Doctor Who. She wants to know why. She wants the answers. She wants to know why we're here, why this is happening, what is the reason, who, what, where, when, why, how, etc. She's the part that asks questions. And we've only done those parts. There's 4, but it's more like 3.5 because anger and fight seem to be kind of one and the same in my head. Laura separated them into 4, but I see it as 3 because, Godzilla is the anger and the fight in me. And the curious part of me is good because she wants to make sense of her experience. And, that's a human thing. We all want to make sense of our experiences. But just, Laura was kind of fascinated that I listed that as a part. But, that was the last part. But, she liked that. So, those are 3 parts that I've done so far. And there's probably going to be more. And it's not like I'm not a system. This is not like a dissociative identity disorder thing at all. It's not that. It's all parts of me. They're all me. It's just different parts of me. And what's interesting is that when we were doing the thing where we connect to those parts, I felt my body language change, but I'm not sure how. I just felt a change in myself. Like I was jumping into different rooms in my head almost. And, each room is different. You have a bathroom, you have a living room, you have a bedroom. You have a study, you have a garage, you have a yard. It's like going to different places in my head. Kind of, that's how I see it. I didn't voice that, but that's what I was kind of envisioning, is different places in my head. And Laura said, well, all these parts are protecting the core of who you are. So that's where we are. And I told her that, I do, when I really want to get out of my mind about things, is that I'll turn on like a beach ambience video on YouTube. Jump cut because the phone rang. Anyway, so I told Laura about how I'll open up a YouTube video to like a beach ambience video where it's just the beach and the waves and stuff, and I would stare at it and just try to imagine I'm on the beach, with the sand under me and the birds and the warmth of the sun and the wind and the smell, the salty smell, and, maybe the water's lapping my feet a bit. And, maybe Godzilla is off over here sleeping and snoring and going skronk in his sleep, and I can hear him breathing, and it feels safe. And he's protecting me. So, she said it's always good to have that safe place in our mind. So you should always go there whenever you can. And I'm like, I do, but sometimes I'll get all settled in and then my dad will start yelling for me and I have to stop what I'm doing to go deal with him. So, that's another part of the anxiousness, is just the fact that I'm constantly interrupted when I'm trying to be calm and peaceful, and it makes it hard. But we're doing parts work, so it was very unsettling for me, and I'm still processing it. And I even told Laura that I come on YouTube right after a session, and I said I name drop her, but only first name. Laura said, and she started preening her hair a bit. It was really cute. But it was really, really productive. I mean, talked about a lot, and And she's telling me about work that she's done herself. So, like, she is, you know, offering me things that she has done with herself. So it's not like, oh, I read this in a book, here, do this. She has done it. So, I trust her. And one of the things that I told her is that I'm learning to trust people because I have just maybe a handful of people that offhand I will just trust. But for a lot of my childhood, my dad would tell me I'm the only person who will ever be honest with you, and other people are going to blow smoke up your butt, but not me. So, if 10 people said something positive about something I did, like let's say I got an A on a test, an A minus on a test, my teacher would be like, "You did real good." And my mom would be like, "Hey, there's an A on that. Nice." And my dad would go, "Well, you got an A minus, but it could have been an A plus. It could have been an A plus." And it's like, okay, so then it sucks. And everybody else is too nice to say so. And I've struggled with that for a long time. So, anyway, but I told Laura she's one of the people on my list of people that I trust, and when she says things, I don't let my dad get into my head. I do the cut the tape with my dad a lot, but that's one thing where when she says things, when she validates me, I believe her. I don't feel like she's just saying it to say it. I believe her. And that's important. It took a couple sessions for me to really let my take my mask off, my mask of I'm okay. And I even said in the session that, this is the place where I'm supposed to fall apart and be ugly about it and struggle with it because you're helping me with that. So, it's been a lot. So, yeah, I'm unsettled, but we're doing good work. So, if I come away unsettled, that means we've done work, and that's a good thing. So, that's where we are. Sorry for my throat being croaky. I need a drink of water. So, love you.